The pillar of clearing. Clearing is the pillar that provides integration. All patterns that distort reality are addressed to bring healing and welcome others into your presence. With clearing, preoccupation with fear, worry, and self-doubt is reduced so that you can accept and forgive yourself and those around you. Staying present through difficult emotions without projecting or deflecting what you feel gives your presence safety. Through clearing, your internal space stays alive and vibrant. You are able to show up in difficult situations and be processed. Unprocessed emotion cause complicated behaviors others might not understand, especially because they contend with their own unconscious issues. The essence of clearing frees old patterns, producing new ones to uphold a truer idea of what life is and what you have to offer.
Awareness, emotional awareness. The awareness of the pillar of clearing recognizes emotions as part of your sensory system and makes them available for guidance. All emotions have function. They provide direct and immediate information and generate the energy needed to act on the information given. Whereas you easily understand uplifting emotions, the use of the uncomfortable emotion isn't always obvious. However, fearless you know you are in danger and generates adrenaline to fight or flee. Anger tells you your boundaries have been challenged and gives you the strength to defend them. Suppress emotions that surface in current situations tells you where you get stuck in the past, not necessarily what is happening today. If you expect rejections, the emotion of being rejected is no longer a reliable sensor. It is a pattern response. Rather than signal of what is going on, the response is faulty antenna that detects all input as the same. Emotional awareness identifies the pattern so you can use the process of clearing and evaluate the truth in the beliefs that created your circumstances. In their pure essence, emotions provide the basis of deeper perception. They synthesize what you see and hear with the undercurrents of energy in the environment around you to create intuition. This type of perception listens to and utilizes emotional insights to discern deeper reality and improve the quality of your life. Here are the essentials of emotional awareness. Emotions are part of your internal guidance system. Every emotion carries useful information along with the faculty to respond. Emotions are the language of subtle energy. They bring energy interactions into direct awareness and reveal energetic subtext of life. Emotions are communication link between the mind and the body. Emotional reveal information about the present or show you where you got stuck in the past. By paying attention, you can identify and neutralize old emotional patterns. Throughout the 8 pillars, feelings and emotions are used as guideposts for understanding the significance of the events, the direction of your path, and the messages from your heart. Emotional awareness provides mindfulness to receive the information carried in your emotions and then use the energy they generate for positive change.
Isolation is at the root of all disease. Cells isolated through lack of blood supply or nerve innervation lag. Babies sweeter away without touch. ecosystem and isolation collapse. People isolated from each other lose their minds, and isolated from their spiritual center become lost and lost joy. Isolation causes so much psychological pain and suffering that it is the most effective means of controlling people, shunning members of the community who act outside of agreed norms, and putting prisoners in isolation are extremely effective punishments. Even torture and abuse are twisted forms of connection, easier to withstand than isolation. Despite the many tools of communication in today's world, general people are feeling more isolated. Many work in cubicles, live in concrete surroundings, separated from nature, relate to other people through electronic screens, and are kept too busy to nurture relationships. The increasing occurrence of depression and suicide is not remedied by all the communication devices advertising connection. Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms create instant contact with content. They provoke quick response with little connection. This is not to suggest that electronic media isn't exciting and doesn't have benefit. Like most people, I rely on its immediate convenience. The bottom line, though, is that living beings need face-to-face connection. Reason this occurs is usually because the ego is treated as an enemy and considered a lower aspect of selves that must be suppressed or eliminated to attain higher awareness. This is another aspect of duality. Duality thinking. Only us and them exist within. The truth is that nothing is created outside of the whole. Even the ego has function that needs to be honored. When the ego is balanced, it supports your spiritual growth. When it is unbalanced, it creates chaos. A healthy, well-developed, and balanced ego is connected to your spiritual center and provides strength, resolution, and willpower. Rather than getting in the way of awareness, it motivates exploration and support the ability to take risks. Great advance in science, social revolution, and even spiritual awakening make it into the whole through the strength of someone's ego. Only a healthy ego can endure the pressure and isolation of standing against social pressure and of a living in the world based on separation. When connected with your spiritual center, the ego supports your ability to stand in your truth.
Imagine there is a person inside of you who is everything you never want to be. Every unwanted feeling, suppressed emotion, and unacceptable thought that is ever distract you has been turned away and pushed inside this person. He or she has all the ugliness your parents warned you to avoid and all the traits you work hard or your life to submerge. Now imagine the energy it takes to keep this person under control. This person is your shadow self, the feelings and thoughts that you have been processed and integrated. The more suppressed and less integrated your shadow is, the more it pops out in self-destructive, vindictive, or unconscious behavior. The expression of such behavior may be so shaming they are responded to protected into the world. With even deeper repression, imagine the little child spitefully enjoying the cries of his sibling when pinched, only to feel immense remorse with promises of "I'll never do it again." Most people will not experience the full expression of their shadow, and some will hardly believe it is there, so well have the unwanted impulses been hidden. Every one of us, however, has a shadow self and are influenced by its unconscious drives. To see the shadow's full expression only requires being part of a righteous crowd. Then the unthinkable within is released. The size of the persona is relative to the size of the shadow self. The two are opposite sides of the same coin. Neither the shadow self nor the persona are expression of your essential self, yet both exert tremendous power, created from the process of separating unwanted thoughts and feelings and submerging them. The shadow self's need for expression becomes a force the persona must always guard against. There is no way to eliminate the shadow self. It must be integrated. The submerged parts of self have to be embraced and brought home. Integrating and owning all the hearts, judgments, rejections, and fears that create the shadow are the only ways to neutralize its hidden power and turn it into a constructive force. That means dropping the persona and turn it into a constructive force. Acceptance brings the shadow of self out of the dark, as the shadow integrated the need for the persona disappears.
The gateway into clearing is the voice. Clearing gives voice to your shadow self and brings it out of the dark. Giving voice means remembering that while the message of unwanted feelings is uncomfortable, it is nonetheless important. The message carries information that you need to be whole. When the shadow self is brought out of the dark, it ceases to be a terrifying monster and becomes a small child, alone and abandoned. One way to give voice to the shadow self is through bearing witness. This is not legal process of someone who has witnessed a crime giving testimony to what they saw. Although in a sense you are giving testimony, You are testifying to the events that gave rise to the suppressed information the shadow self holds. When you bear witness to your unwanted feelings, you are showing up for yourself. When another person witnesses your process with you, the perception with their presence shine light where you are struck. This is a gift of presence gives to others as well. Presence is witness, not judge, not analyst or commentator, offered to give a little more energy and a little more clarity for the work under. Suggestions and observations wait until the process of the emotion is over.
For our self-reflection, try to meditate and ask yourself the following questions. What is your relationship with your shadow self? How do you see the reflection of your shadow self in your response to life events? In what way does your shadow self try to get your attention? How well do you listen to your emotions? What messages are they trying to impart? What situations trigger your self-negating thoughts? In what ways does your shadow self charge your energy field? Is feeling good a measure for whether you are living your truth? Why or why not? Is there ever an exception? Who are you when you like yourself? Is your strong emotion or persistent thought telling you about where you got stuck in the past? What is happening in the present or what you are afraid of in future? Is the message true? What does your body mind want you to know in this moment? What is hidden from you in your patterned response? What have you forgotten or lost? What do you need? What feelings rise in regard to bearing witness and giving voice to your own pain and suffering, embarrassment, shame, or something else? In bearing witness to another's feelings, easy and natural or difficult and uncomfortable? If uncomfortable, what thoughts and feelings get in the way? What gets in the way of bearing witness to social injustice and suffering? Do you feel helpless? And lastly, ask yourself, what are your beliefs about the power of soul force?
Gift, soul force. Bearing witness is also a spiritual concept. Your presence has power. When you bring your presence to bear on a situation just by being present, you provide energy and awareness. No matter how hopeless the situation or how little influence you have, your presence makes a difference. Consider what it is like to be alone and in pain. Being alone can be worse than in pain itself. Your witness surrounds those who suffer with fellowship. When your soul touches another soul, suffering is shared, giving proof that the essence within is greater than the suffering. Bearing witness is a traditional for the Society of Friends and part of Gandhi's vision of a non-violent social change. Living in our truth and using your presence in witness of injustice gives birth to what Gandhi called soul force, a person's full spiritual strength. Soul force suggests that awakening awarenesses doesn't stop with personal growth. Change starts within, but it doesn't end there. As you become change, you want to see you awaken to social responsibility, the ability to respond to another's suffering. Soul force is central to Gandhi's vision of non-violence and living the truth in your inner light in everyday affairs. If you believe you are powerless, the only course for self-defense is violence. If you know you are powerful, you can achieve greater results with soul force. If you believe you are powerless to change injustice in the world, you may turn your back on cruelty and suffering. If you know the power and mysterious actions of soul force, you might use your presence to bear witness. While bearing witness feels passive, it unleashes a powerful force. Consciousness is elevated, and the perpetrator, the target, and the witness are changed. Not everyone is called to be a witness of social injustice. Yet every one of us is confronted daily with some form of cruelty to people, animals, and earth. Sometimes the sheer volume of mutilated animal bodies on the highway takes an emotional toll. Here is an exercise to stay present, offer your presence, and discharge the emotion so that it doesn't build up, cause internal balance. Take a conscious deep breath and exhale deep into the earth. Ask earth for strength and support. Breathe earth light, strength, and consciousness into your body. Ask the invisible realms for support. Breathe into your feelings and offer the breath of life, the breath of God, to your feelings as they arise. Exhale the energy of your feelings into the earth and ask for her help in neutralizing them. Be thankful for support. Use this process to stay present without becoming overwhelmed with grief, anger, or despair. Affirm that you are a powerful being and that adding your soul force to that of other matters. Create an image of lighting a candle in the dark and holding the candle before the scene you are witnessing. On your breath, send love, support, and compassion to all involved, including yourself. Affirm that your presence ensures this person, animal, piece of land, or group of people they are not alone and abandoned, and their sacrifice not forgotten. When you are finished, release your energy into earth and give thanks.